Hey everybody, here we go. We have left Berlin, taking the hour-long train ride along the flower-lined German countryside on our way to Brandenburg and the Tropical Islands Resort. Ooh, check it out if you look off into the distance through the trees. There it is, the world's largest freestanding hall.
It's big.
We're finally inside. I mean, this place is amazing. It used to be an airship hangar. You know, blimps, Zeppelins. That German company went bankrupt and then they turned it into this. And that's why Harris County Judge Ed Emmett is here on this fact-finding mission touring the dome. And he's not alone.
A lot of good ideas came out of this.
Carol Stiff from the County Sports and Convention Corporation.
There are a lot more possibilities than what we were even thinking about.
Along with architect Bill Merrill, who's been contracted by the county.
I hope that we can get a little better handle on some of the things they did to repurpose this building.
Man, just walking around this place is massive. In fact, it's about twice the size of the Astrodome. You could fit the Eiffel Tower laying down in it, or the Statue of Liberty standing up. Now listen, they don't want to turn our Astrodome into a tropical resort with pools and beaches and hotel rooms like this. But they're gathering ideas and insight for a park, and some of the same concepts and principles apply.
But I think what we need to do is create a space that the public can use, that the rodeo can use, tailgaters can use, and if we do that as the county, then the rest of this will all fall together fairly quickly.
Man, I'll tell you, it is really hot in here. They keep it about 80 degrees, but the humidity, very Houston-like, about 60% humidity. Moist and sticky. Ew. Wow, look at all of these plants.
I think that's one of the reasons we wanted to look at this, not for the tropical effect, but as a green space, what you can do with a dome.
This is the horticulturalist in charge of the world's largest indoor rainforest. When Tropical Islands first opened back in 2004, a lot of them actually died.
We have 70 cocoa palms in this area. They all died.
So they had to build this skylight to let sun in.
You must use the right plants for the right climate. You must look especially at the sunlight and the humidity, and then you need a little bit experience that you can choose the right plants.
You can do some of the same things they did here, which you create some glass areas and some open areas that will let the sun in, and you're going to have to look at that very closely.
Merrill, the Houston architect, was very interested in looking at the complex climate control and irrigation systems, the exterior skin and structure.
The Astrodome has a few more challenges because it's designed as a multi-story building, and so we have essentially 2 layers of exterior ring on the Astrodome that we're going to have to figure out how to deal with when we redevelop the interior.
It didn't take long for all the new ideas to start flowing. Remember, the Astrodome has all those rings. What do you think about this idea?
They had an educational trail, and if we're talking about a park,
A space exhibit.
we need educational facilities.
Texas history.
We got to be careful where we shoot. There's a portion of the resort here that's all nude. Europeans are more comfortable with their bodies than us in America. No doubt repurposing a dome as big as this is a huge project. The Astrodome is only about half the size, and the Germans say it can be done.
I believe it can be done in Texas, yes. I think if you want to follow an idea and you want to follow this spirit, you can do everything everywhere.
All right, that's going to do it for now. I think I'm going to go track down the nude sauna. Nobody wants to see that. Seriously, no one. Tomorrow, we're going to hear from the Tropical Islands CEO and the architect who helped turn it into what it is today. For now, I'm Chris Stipes in Germany, Fox 26 News.
I first broke this story in October and traveled back to the church and stayed overnight just to see what it's like to live in sanctuary for 24 hours. Instead of going to a restaurant for dinner, this meal is being home cooked.
We ate the rice, very good rice with vegetables.
And for Sandra Lopez, staying inside for dinner has become food for thought for the last 3.5 months.
Yeah, it's very hard for me to stay always inside the house because that is not a life for me.
Lopez has taken sanctuary inside this church property with their 2-year-old daughter, Areli.
Sometimes I look at the people by the window walking, so I'm jealous for that people, you know, because they are free.
But now she can't leave the property due to fears of being deported.
They can come for me, so that's why. So I'm very afraid for that.
Well, I'm standing on the sidewalk right in front of the sanctuary where Sandra has been before, but she feels if she went out to the street or even beyond the street, that short distance could be the difference between her staying here and being deported. So as a way to pass time, Lopez plays with her daughter and others around the house.
I play sometimes with the dog, Scrappy.
And those that are familiar with the situation notice the internal struggle Lopez deals with while being stuck inside.
She can't go to the grocery store, or if her daughter needs medicine, she needs to get someone else to go get it for her. And I think that must be really, really hard.
And back inside, signs on the front door show a whole process to follow when someone knocks.
We don't want them to accidentally open the door and not verify that there's a warrant there. So we really want to make sure that people are paying attention to this and just every time locking the door when they leave.
Reverend Shauna Foster decided to open her church doors for sanctuary, all based off religious freedom.
We really want to see the same pluralism in society that we have in our tradition, and that means keeping our community together.
Since then, the church and Sandra have received some negative messages on our social media pages after our first story, some of which I chose to read to her. She is illegal. Send her packing. She can take her kids with her.
No, this person are very wrong because I know I'm illegal, but my dignity is not about a legal paper.
Smith Immigration has been handling Lopez's case, and I asked one of her attorneys, Liam Devlin, a similar question. What's your response to those who say, well, if she is illegal and she isn't a legal citizen, she should be deported?
Generally, John, my response would be that this case, in a case like so many individuals like Sandra, has context to it.
That context, according to Devlin, would be Lopez has no criminal background record and left Mexico due to violence concerns and wanting better opportunities.
People, wanting to comment on Sandra being here, I think it would be good for them to try and put themselves in Sandra's shoes.
And while Lopez takes off her shoes for the night, that same context is something she always thinks about before going to bed.
I love my daughter, so I love my son, so I don't want to be separated from them.
Early in the morning, Lopez likes to stay busy.
I like to clean the house. I like clean the house because I like peace.
Even though that peace may only be temporary.
I miss my home too much. I miss absolutely everything, because it's my house.
Lopez continues to pass the time by cooking or playing with her daughter, all while hoping pieces are put together to change her current situation.
We need immigration reform because the system, it is absolutely broke. That is not liberty for anybody.
So in between learning English, cooking, and doing yoga, Lopez really just wants one thing.
Yes, I want to be free. That's all I want, free. I need freedom for me and for my children.
And that freedom would give her the ability to enjoy things as a family once again, whether just going outside or going out for dinner.
Pastries? Check. Sandwiches? Check. Coffee? Check. History? Check. This isn't your typical coffee shop for a couple of reasons. First, all the profits from this coffee shop go to Hope West, a nonprofit hospice care center. Second, the coffee shop is located in one of Grand Junction's most historic homes, the Miller Homestead. The Artful Cup just rebranded itself to reflect the history of its surroundings. The home was built in 1889 by Lawrence and Emily Miller, cattle and goat farmers who brought their herd to the Grand Valley from the Midwest.
It was quite an estate. It was the Grand Valley's show home. They were quite the socialites when they had their open house, that anyone that was anybody was here.
After a series of owners, the home was donated to Hope West and renovated in 2007. And now the coffee shop has also become a history museum.
And we have since taken the history of the Millers and turned the parlor into a little mini museum.
You can learn about the family and the history of the city in the late 1800s, and about Lazarus, the prized Angora goat raised by the miller's son. The wool from the goats was quite profitable, used to make mohair clothing. And now the coffee shop even has a special drink called the Curly Goat to honor Lazarus. Hope West Community Relations Manager says there's a reason you should stop by the Artful Cup the next time you want a cup of joe.
As an organization that is built by our community, we want you to all feel involved and like you are giving back in part of our mission, and you can do that when you have a cup of coffee here.
So the next time you're going out for a jolt of caffeine or a light lunch, you can add a bit of the Grand Valley's history to your outing, along with doing something good for the community. First on the Western Slope, I'm Jeff Roth, KREX 5 News.
I'd love to be in a Coca-Cola ad with Bruce Springsteen.
Hobby or obsession?
I love the colour red.
$600 in the collection. Is there like an addiction in a way?
I love meeting many me's, if you will. I'm sure I'll be collecting till the day I die.
I'd like to dance. Take the dress off them, I'd wash them and iron them as if I'd nothing to do.
I'll never stop. Same stop, I'm dead.
The Collectors, July 26th on RTE1.
Leonard is not just off-grid. He doesn't even have road access. For a short time, he can use a motorboat. But 5 months of the year, this is his commute. Then a hike through the woods, then some more paddling before reaching his property.
People can't find you. They can't drive up into your yard and buy stuff.
Well, it's the last race of the year. It's probably the most important one. It's always a lot of fun and some hard, fast racing, and everyone's at their best.
Increased erosion and river ice breaking up earlier and earlier.
To me, some of us are scientists of this country.
And now the Supreme Court will weigh in. One of the questions is where to pick up the planning process. It's something the Yukon Grand Chief echoes.
We're still struggling just to get recognition as governments.